Okay, so since I have time because I'm on the road and there is traffic jam, let's make a video how to actually enter in the flow state when you're on the golf course. How to actually perform on the golf course, but from the mind perspective, not the game, the technique and so on. There is a lot of things that you're already working on, but the very major thing that will either make or break your round is your mind. And so that's probably I think the toughest part that's required to master, because at some point when you are getting about scratch player, I believe that anything below that is really your mind. Your game is there, but then do you actually master your mind? And so for me, when I want to actually perform on the golf course, there is multiple things that need to come together in order to be able to do that. Of course, as I said, the technique and so on, but in order for you to get your mind in the right place, and you're going to be shocked by that, not necessarily shocked, but that's not maybe something you will not expect. It starts with nutrition, because what I find is a clear mind start with a balanced and stable internal state when it comes to energy level. Because when you're getting insulin spike, so on, when you're eating or you start lacking food, and you have those up and down in energy because of the food intake, this creates instability within your body, which then translates to instability within your mind. And since to be able to perform on the golf course, you need to be stable all the time, this is the nutrition has a far greater impact than what you would ever imagine. And you may wonder, why should we be stable all the time? Because your mind is always thinking ahead of what's going to happen, and is always thinking based on what's happened just before. And so, for instance, mistakes can happen because for a few shots before, you were feeling great. You had a lot of energy, and so your mind was clear. But suddenly, because either you didn't eat enough food, or maybe you eat something with too much sugar, which boosts your energy at some point, but then your energy dropped down. Without even realizing it, your mind isn't as sharp as it was 1, 2, or 3 shots ago. And so you're going to take the decision with the assumption that your mind is still as sharp as it is, which it is not. And this is the very best way to fuck up your run, because you will overestimate your capacity to execute, you will overestimate yourself in the moment. And also, because honestly, if you know you're not at your best, you're going to take more conservative decision, or you're going to make sure that if you miss, that's okay, you will be able. The key is to know where you are. Knowing that you are not in a state to perform at your best is better than not knowing, or even the opposite. But because when you know the state you are in, you can predict outcome. But when your internal state is fluctuating all the time, this is becoming very difficult to anticipate your decision and the quality of them. And so this is the first thing that make huge difference. For me, it has.
Serré à droite.
Thanks. For me, it has been a massive difference. Every time I want to actually perform in competition and so on, I make sure that nutrition is on point. The nutrition the night before and during the golf course, and I try to drink beverages that are actually I don't know the term in English, but that have the hydration, sugar concentration versus hydration, something that is very close to your blood flow. Let's to simplify, because if you take a Red Bull, this is highly dense, and so what is going to happen is for the sugar of the Red Bull to go to your blood, it need to be diluted with water. And so what's going to happen when you drink a Red Bull, the water is going to get out of yourself to be able to dilute the Red Bull for it to actually get into your blood. And so drinking a Red Bull is actually dehydrating yourself, which is not good, because water is very important also for focus. So there is a lot of aspects that come into nutrition. Maybe one day I will do a more in-depth video just about it. But that's the first thing. If the nutrition is not on point, then this is very difficult to get in. And I have tried multiple things: fasting, not eating at all. And honestly, you'll be surprised. For instance, starting very early, I have the habit of not really eating in the morning. But if I actually have a round of golf in the morning, I have tried to just not eat, just drink water. And you'll be amazed since you have not eaten anything, your mental state is crystal clear. Of course, the lack of food makes that you are not probably going to eat the ball as far as usual, and so there is consequences of not actually having enough food to energy. But the internal state is so stable that this is very easy to get into flow state. So anyway, nutrition, one side, that's a first thing that is important to consider. But then there is something else. Voila, because okay, you are in the right space of mind, your body is stable, okay. But when push comes to shove, you want to score, you are competing and so on, and so you have a lot of emotions that are going and try to fight in your body, which is going to make you overthink things and create a separation between your mind and your body. Because understanding that the flow state is the union, the merge of your mind and your body. There is no separation anymore. What you think and what you act are the same thing. You are in a flow state. And so generally, when not saying emotion, but you start overthinking things, start having anxiety, and so this creates a discrepancy, a difference between your mind and your body, and you are not connecting to your body as much as you should. And this comes generally by anticipating the future, getting ahead of ourselves. And so even though that's a good thing to say, okay, you need to be in the present moment, that doesn't help, because you cannot force being in the present moment. The way you do it is focusing on something to the point where you forget everything. And so everything else, sorry. And so the way I like to do it is focus on the most impactful thing that I can focus on each shot. Focus only on that, and mainly focus on something I can 100% control. 100%. Then everything that is outside of my control is something I'm not focusing on. Because a flow state can be strong but also very fragile, in the sense that every time you're kind of getting an outcome that you wasn't expecting, this creates a door for your mind to start overthinking things and start thinking about it. Where if you focus only on what you can control, there is no room for that. There is no room for having those intrusive thoughts that can get you out of your flow state. So, for instance, I'm going to take the example with my kind of swing. When I'm facing a shot, actually that's not a swing, that's for every single shot. Then each shot have very subtle things that I'm actually focusing on as well. But overall, on every single shot, what I'm focusing on is one thing only. Don't make mistake. And mistake can come in very different ways. It's probably going to come to be very different for you than it is for me. But the idea is, whatever my definition of making a mistake is, and this is more decision basis. Or I can also do it a little bit on the execution, but sometimes the execution can be a little tricky. But I try to do both decision and execution, and the goal.
Suivez la route sur 61 km.
Shut up. And the goal is to actually not make mistake. And so each shot I'm making, I say, okay, I know what is my routine, I know what I need to do, and I know how I need to do it. So I take in. So my routine says that I need to do that, and that. Okay. When I execute the shot, I know that I need to do that, and that. Okay. When I hit that shot, did I do everything that I knew I should have done? And if the answer is yes, I didn't make any mistake. And it doesn't matter the outcome. It doesn't matter where the ball ends up. As long as I checked all the boxes and I know I didn't make any mistake, that's a success. And I go on shot after shot, focusing only on not making mistakes. And when you think about it like that, that makes a world of a difference, because you realize that scoring low, making birdies is not a matter of wish. It's not a matter of wish. It's not a matter of desire. It's not a matter of I want to score low, I want to make birdie. It's you understand on a deep level that to score, you need to hit good shots. And to hit good shots, you need to not make mistakes. So the only thing you need to focus on in order to score low is not make mistake. And the score will take care of itself. And so that's kind of the thing that's the two most important things. Nutrition on one side. If the nutrition is not on point, you cannot have the mental clarity to not make mistake in your decision process. But once the nutrition part is set, then this is about having clear decision process and knowing and execution process as well, and knowing, being clear, did I make a mistake or not? And if you cannot answer that clearly, then this is a mistake in itself. You need to figure that out. But then once you know that, you can go on the golf course and know you did a good job. And a lot of time being in a flow state is a lot about self-esteem, and it's a lot about self-esteem and actually being able to focus on the right thing. And because you are positive in your mind, you can carry on and focus and stay positive over the long run. Anyway, thanks you for watching. I'll see you next time.